What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at the 1998 Godzilla American remake, directed by Nolan Emmerich. Okay, I'm going to make this review as short and sweet as I possibly can because I have a lot of very fond memories of this 1998 Godzilla movie. I remember watching this movie in theaters when it first came out, when I was 8 years old. When I first saw this movie, this was my legitimate first exposure to the Godzilla character. And I'm not gonna lie, seeing it almost 20 something years ago, I love this movie. I loved this movie as a child. I don't remember how many times I have seen this movie. I thought this was one of the coolest things I've ever seen at a young age. This was my, like I said, this was my earliest exposure to the Godzilla character. Up to this moment, up prior to seeing this 1998 movie, I have already known of the character of Godzilla through some cartoons and the action figures, but I have never really seen a lot of Godzilla movies until up to this point. Now, flash forward now 20 something years later, now that I've been more exposed to Godzilla and post my 8-year-old adolescence, having seen more of the original Japanese movies in the post of watching this movie and a few other things related to Godzilla, yes, I can see how the 1998 movie is a complete character betrayal of Godzilla. The Godzilla in this movie looks absolutely nothing like its Japanese counterpart. It doesn't. It has passing things that are can be considered related, and the passing thing is basically the Godzilla roar, and that's pretty much it. Otherwise, the original Godzilla is a prehistoric monster. The Godzilla in this movie is pretty much a mutated marine iguana that does not have any attributes of the original Godzilla. It doesn't have the atomic breath. It doesn't have anything like that. It's essentially a giant dinosaur. And that's what this 1998 movie is. It's basically a remake of sorts of the Jurassic Park movies, just with the name Godzilla slapped onto it to give it just to make it feel different. Now, when you look at it like that, yeah, the 1998 movie, it kind of sucks as a Godzilla movie. But if you just watch this as a monster movie, I still find this to be very entertaining. I love the cheese value of this movie. I like the overall look and feel of the movie in general. Like the movie, it feels like a fun monster movie when you just watch it like that. If you watch it as a Godzilla movie, yeah, you're going to be extremely disappointed with it. Now, I feel the 2014 movie is a much better movie in comparison to this, but the 2014 movie doesn't have the sense of fun that I feel this movie has. And that's actually a shame because, like I said, I do enjoy the 2014 movie, but the biggest problem with that 2014 movie is that it maybe took itself a little too seriously. And it didn't have it didn't have a really a sense of fun. It was too somber for me. And there's nothing wrong with that in a Godzilla movie. But in a Godzilla movie, you also got to have a sense of fun. You also got to have a sense of wonderment and adventure. And I give the 1998 movie some credit. It does, Roland Emmerich, to his credit, does try to create that fun, adventurous atmosphere with this movie. Even though Godzilla in this movie does not look like Godzilla at all, it's still fun to see the character. It's still fun to see him trample around New York and just take down the army and go through buildings and just cause the great Godzilla destruction that he's known for doing. Uh, the actors in this movie, listen, the actors are actually very very talented actors in other things. In this movie, they're not so much, with the exception of Jean Reno, who plays this French army guy named Felipe Roche. He's the only, to me, he's the real standout, along with Hank Azaria as the character of Animal. Other than that, the cast in this movie, they're just sleepwalking through it, or they're just not trying at all. And in this cast includes, Kevin Dunn, who plays a general named Hicks. I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoy Kevin Dunn in this movie. I thought he was actually pretty good as the general. But you have Matthew Broderick, who plays this scientist named Dr. Nico Tatopoulos. He's okay in the role. Then you have Patillo, who plays his love interest named Audrey. The weakest aspects of this movie are the human characters, just because they're just not that interesting. Like Broderick and Patillo, the whole romance they have throughout this film, throwaway. You don't need it at all. It's not even remotely interesting at all. It's just filler. It's just filler, and to me it eats up too much screen time. At least the movie does have some humor going to it, like Jean Reno as the Frenchman. I like Jean Reno from The Professional. I thought he's great in that movie, and I enjoyed him in this movie as well. I thought he had a lot of funny lines. I like his dry humor, and he's a badass pretty much in this movie, and I enjoyed that. Hank Azaria. I've always been a fan of Hank Azaria, going back to his voice work with The Simpsons, and I enjoyed him as the character of Animal. He has a lot of he has a lot of the most memorable and funny bits to me. Harry Shearer also makes an appearance in this movie. He's another Simpsons alum. He plays a newscaster who's trying to get in the pants of the Audrey character. I like Harry Shearer. I think he's funny. He doesn't really need to be in this movie. Basically, he doesn't really need to be in this movie, to be honest with you. Does not need to be in this movie at all. And the subplot he has with Audrey about trying to get in her pants and her trying to convince him to make her a reporter, I don't need it, don't need it, don't need it, don't need it. It's useless. It's like, yeah, the human characters in this movie, they're completely throwaway. They're the most uninteresting part of the movie. With the exception of maybe 3 characters that I actually did like because I liked the actors, and I actually thought they had a dry sense of humor to them. All the other actors, I could care less. They just came across as just cardboard cutouts, and they were just completely uninterestingly bland. But from an overall visual spectacle, I thought this movie was well done. It has a good mix of practical effects and CGI, though yes, some of the CGI in the movie can be very, very shoddy. Even by 1998 standards, the CGI is not that great. And by 98, CGI was, refined from when it was first created. So, yeah. And I still stand by this. If Terminator 2 can have groundbreaking special effects, almost 10 years prior to this movie coming out, there's no excuse why this movie couldn't have more refined effects. Though I will say this: there were instances where Godzilla in name only does look pretty good, and there are instances where he does not look so good. It's a very up and down thing. But like I said, this movie does have some good use of practical effects. It does have also some use of Godzilla as a practical effect. Particularly, my favorite scene is where the heroes are driving a taxi cab and they get stuck in Godzilla's mouth. Like, you can clearly tell that it's an animatronic mouth. And it looks pretty good. I like it. And I actually do enjoy the entire Madison Square Garden sequence, even though it is a rip-off of Jurassic Park with the Velociraptors. It's still very thrilling. It does have a lot of humor into it. And I don't hate it. I will say that. I don't hate it, though it is a Jurassic Park ripoff. And I do like the overall ending of the movie, where after Godzilla is killed by the army, we find out that one egg has survived the army exploding up Madison Square Garden, and the hatchling hatched, and another baby was born, and this, of course, is what led to the Godzilla '90s show, which I actually do remember watching as a kid, and I actually did like it a lot. So, yeah. Overall, thoughts on Godzilla '98. This is a guilty pleasure type of movie. Is it perfect? No. Is it stupid, fun, and yet silly? Yes, it is. Do I recommend it? If you want to have a good time, watch it. It's not boring. This movie is far from boring. It is very entertaining. And I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts on Godzilla 1998. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like this video and subscribe. And I will check you back next time for more.